the thing is, this is like literally the best selling car in the world. It got cheaper. They did remove a couple of those things. You know, you kind of question whether or not, you know, were those things worth it? I personally think they were. If you're, you know, if you're used to the old kind of Model Y, I think that this actually makes a lot of sense. What's up, guys? I have the standard range Model Y. As we know, they just released this about a month ago, maybe a little bit over. It's $38,000 and they've renamed the long range to the premium. You can get a rear wheel drive and all wheel drive. But here we're just gonna do a quick walkthrough. As you can see, the biggest difference is obviously there's no light bar going all the way across. They do have the front facing camera here, which is now actually standard on all of them. And then if you kind of go around, we have the 18-inch rims here, which will allow you to get the full, really the full range here. And then we have the kind of the textile interior, which let's just step inside. You can just see the textile texture and pattern that they have now. It's in between the leather that they have here, or what they would call vegan leather. And you also don't get the center console at all coming through. And the one other thing is you get the stock here, which you can do all that. And then the other big call out is the fact that you actually have to, so there is no actual, like, you cannot select here the seat movement. You actually have to go onto the screen, which I'm not a fan of. I think that's probably the one thing that they should not have done anything to. And so when you click move, you can actually see it moving up. As I'm holding the button here, it's moving up, and then you can move it back as I'm pressing the button. And then the other call out too is that you do not see the mirror roof. There's no mirror roof here. As Lars said, that, you know, all mirrors are not built the same. So that's one of the big things you'll see here. But I'm gonna post a link to my other review. I'm not gonna do an extended review here, but again, I just wanna do the major call outs before I do the test drive. Again, they have the camera inside. And just this, you know, this stuff is pretty common. And then I think the one thing I will say is that the side mirrors are also too, these are manual. So you actually have to move them like that, and then you can move it out. The other big call out is that all of their folding seats are now manual. So I have to push this button here to unlock it. And you can see it drops down. I'm gonna get that back up. And then the other major call out is the fact that there is no rear screen. So if you're familiar with the 3 and the Y before they got the refresh edition, it shouldn't be a big case, but they have 2 USB-Cs. And then I'm a 6'2" guy, no problem. And then here again is a view of the back, from the back, what the, kind of, what is this? The covered mirror roof looks like. And again, not all mirrored glass is built the same. All right, and then we're gonna go into the back here. The difference is here on the premium, you can push those down and those will go down in industry standard quickness. And then the one other thing too is that they kept this, the automatic trunk. I'm gonna go set that down. And then here again, it's just the textile view. So you can just see what this looks like from the back and then from the front. And then the one other thing I have to do, this is what it feels like to get into the front, but is the blinker, right? The left and right blinker. They were using feedback, and I think people with an astounding yes wanted to get this updated. All right, so we're just gonna look here. This is what it's like, but it does come now standard with the stock. This is also probably one of the other weird things, I'll be honest, that I'm not a big fan of, is the fact that this frunk, they kind of left it open, and I think maybe an accessory will be coming, but you know, there's just a lot of room here. Again, I don't know all the stuff behind this, but the windshield fluid is right here, but they should have covered that up. I don't think that I don't know how much money they're saving, especially when it literally is like pretty much, you know, you could like flip this and this will come up. So I'm not too sure what was going on there, but all right, we're gonna close this. I'm gonna do a quick walk around of what the vehicle looks like. So let me know, you know, what you think of the standard range. I think it actually does look pretty good. You know what I mean? Like I actually like the look of it. It feels aggressive and sporty. And I don't feel like, you know, the things that you lose with the $5,000 really are not that big of a deal. The only thing is, again, probably the seats. That's like the only thing that I would have given, I think that they should have probably kept, you know? But we're gonna do a quick test drive. You're gonna have to let me know what you think of this. And is this worth the $38,000? Or what else do you think they should have kept instead of getting rid of all of those features that I called out at the beginning? All right, so there is no sunroof in this car. So because of that, I'm having to use the window to shoot this. So I'm gonna now move this over here. I got my Insta3 Ace Pro 2, my X5 in the front. Shout out to Insta360 for being an amazing sponsor and the official camera of TOSV. But we're gonna do a quick test drive here and just see kind of like how it handles. You know, one thing I will say is that it is an adjustment to get back to kind of like, it is an adjustment to get used to the stock, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on settings, and I'm gonna turn off the lady. But yeah, it's you know, like I'm used to the Cybertruck and the Model X where you don't have it, right? And so, but you know, one thing I do like about this is that it feels, you know, really solid, right? A lot of acceleration there. If I just, you know, I'm just going back and forth, kind of just doing the kind of just testing out kind of like the stiffness and really just the flexibility. And then also I am used to the Cybertruck, which is crazy because, you know, it's got the steer by wire. But I would say, like I said, you know, when I compare this against the Model 3 Premium and really the Model Y Premium, I mean, and really just, you know, it really does feel solid, right? Like you're not getting a cheap car with this, even though this is the standard range. All right, so we got this person coming out here. Yeah, I mean, you know, as far as even the chair goes, right? Like I really am a fan of the way it feels. I'm just gonna do a quick 0 to 35. There's no one on the road here. Oh my, wow, that is so slow. Oh my goodness, that's like not even, ooh. Okay, I gotta say that is like, you know, if you can't afford the premium, I get it. You know, sometimes there's price constraint, but that is really underwhelming. Okay, so going from like 40 to like 50, you can feel already you can feel just how much more power. So this is totally, like I just straight out the gate, like I know that they are software constraining the power on this thing, right? And so again, I'm just trying this out here, right? Yeah, so you can feel it. And I'm gonna do a quick turn here. Again, gotta use that stalk. Love the tight turn there. You can really kind of lean into that and go into that, right? And then even here, yeah, you can really kind of push it. But again, this is kind of like, this is definitely, you're driving the standard range. Like you can feel it. This is not the premium edition. This is definitely like the version where they're doing that software constraint. But as far as the experience goes, right? Like when I think of the power that you get in switching to this version. So as far as the ride quality goes, like you're definitely, I believe the premium, those have the kind of that adaptive suspension. you definitely feel like every rock cranny in the road, right? I feel like with the Model 3 standard range, I didn't feel everything. Again, I'm also in a different location, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I guess this is kind of like what I would expect. I mean, but again, the thing is, this is like literally the best selling car in the world. It got cheaper. They did remove a couple of those things. You know, you kind of question whether or not, you know, were those things worth it? I personally think they were. If you're used to the old kind of Model Y, I think that this actually makes a lot of sense, especially if you want to get into the latest version. But the back screen can be a game changer. Yeah, so I think, like I said, I think the $5,000 in cuts makes a lot of sense. I think they did a good job here. Now, I will say that the $10,000 that they cut from the Cybertruck rear-wheel drive to the all-wheel drive made absolutely no sense, and hence why they actually killed it. But the $5,000 that you lose here with the textile interior, the lack of the light bar, this rear screen, the front is obviously not all enclosed. Even the wheels that you get, and then the lack of the roof too. Like, all of those things make sense. But I mean, and then the lack of acceleration, you know. And then I believe this gets 321 miles of range, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's solid, right? Like, and I will say that Tesla really did knock it out of the park when they launched the new 3 and Y. Like, it's V2 of the original cars, and they killed it. So you are really getting a premium car. You know, I really think that it's definitely worth checking out. You know, I've had 5 Teslas now, and so, you know, I've had 2 3s, 2 Ys, and a Cybertruck. See, yeah, you really can't feel that acceleration until you get up to 40. And this was the same thing with the standard range Model 3. It was the same exact experience. I really enjoy the feel and vibe of the whole experience. This is the standard. That's literally what you're gonna get. So I think, you know, for customers or really consumers, that, you know, maybe that $5,000, it really is a big difference, you know. Okay, yeah, that, like I said, I enjoyed that turn there. Yeah, and I'm just doing a quick 360 there. And shout out to Insta360 for being the official camera of TOSV. I got the X5 and the Ace Pro covering this experience here. Yeah, so I'm just trying to take these corners. Again, I'm speeding up to the speed limit. But it's really just to kind of get a feel and vibe of this car. Should you buy this car? If you are in the market for a Model Y, my overwhelming opinion is get the premium. So that's just my opinion, is if you can't afford it, definitely get the premium. But, you know, just a cool experience to experience this and to drive it. I think Tesla, the $5,000 that they removed and cheaper price made sense. You know, no light bar, no back screen, obviously slower, no center, you know, full center console. The front is obviously not fully enclosed. Obviously they removed the light bar. So all of those things kind of like, you know, make sense for like why they would have cut the $5,000. But yeah, let me know, you know, from your opinion, you know, what you think of the cuts. Are they too drastic? Are they not drastic enough? But yeah, you know, that's kind of my overall thoughts on the Model Y Standard Range Edition. Thank you again for tuning in. Again, this is the Standard Range Model Y. I'll post a link to the full walkthrough that we did. But yeah, let me know what you think. Is this something you would buy, or would you go up to the Premium Edition? Huge fan. Glad I got to test drive it. And you know, it's got such a different, distinct look on it. But thanks again, Tesla, also too, for providing this test drive. And yeah, we will catch you guys all next time. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and give a comment.